Last month, I made over $200,000 trading options, but here's what nobody wants to hear. It wasn't passive income, not even close. And if you're watching this video thinking that trading is your ticket to making income while you sleep, I'm about to show you something that's going to completely change the way that you think about trading. Look, I've been trading for 6 years. I've made over $2 million in profits. I've moved to my dream apartment. I've traveled the world. I've bought one of my dream cars. And today I'm going to share how trading actually works and why the passive income promise could be holding you back from trading success. Let's start with why you clicked on this video. The screenshots showing people making money while they quote unquote sleep and everything being on autopilot. Who would not want that? And I get it. When I first started trading, that's exactly what I thought it would be. Set up some trades, make sure you have your targets and zones, and then just let them run, and then go to sleep and make money. But after 6 years and making over $2 million in the markets, I learned something that changed everything for me. And once you understand this, you'll see why some people make consistent money in the markets and why some lose everything that they have. Here's the truth about trading that most people don't realize until it's too late. Trading is a skill, just like becoming a doctor, just like becoming an architect, and just like being a professional boxer. Think about it this way. Would you expect to perform surgery on somebody without going to medical school? Would you expect to design buildings without studying architecture? Would you expect to be a professional boxer without putting in years of work? Of course not. So why do people think trading is different? Let me show you what my actual trading day looks like. Every single day I get up an hour before the market open. I make sure I know which stocks got news, which stocks got certain upgrades, downgrades, and what the data and the actual environment looks like in the morning. I also make sure I map out all my key levels. I know exactly where I'm going to enter, where I'm going to exit, and there's preparation within the madness. When I place a trade, I'm not just randomly buying and hoping that the stock goes up. I make sure that I have a key level to use as an entry level. I make sure I'm confirming the trade by looking for volume as the stock is breaking through that key level, and I always make sure I know exactly what my risk to reward is. I'm reading candlestick patterns that tells me who is in control, buyers or sellers, and I'm making sure I know exactly how much I can afford to lose on a trade. Because yes, I'm wrong sometimes, and actually I'm wrong about 45% of the time, and I'm still able to make money in stocks because it's not about having the right win rate, it's about making sure that you have a good risk to reward and that your winners outweigh your losers. When I'm right, I make about 3 times what I lose, and that's the benefit of having such a good risk to reward. And that's called risk management. That's what separates the pros from the gamblers. And this isn't passive. This is one of the most challenging, mentally tough things you could do. Now you might be thinking, okay, once you learn it, then it becomes passive, right? Well, let me tell you about my journey. First year trading, I lost a ton of money. I was making every single mistake that you could probably think of making, buying at the bottom, selling at the top, getting FOMO, revenge trading, and it was a loss after loss. The second year, I broke even, but I was still making a ton of mistakes. I started to learn a system, but I didn't know how to control my emotions. I didn't know how to have the right psychology to make sure that I'm sticking to that system as much as possible, but I started seeing some improvements. Third year, finally profitable. I started seeing results. I had a good system, and the only thing that was really holding me back at this point was my small account. I didn't have enough money to really compound, and all I was working for every single day was to make sure that I was able to grow that account. So that's 2 years of pretty much paying tuition to the markets, not even making a single penny. Imagine having to go to your job and doing something for 2 years straight and not getting paid at all, or even having to pay to make sure that you do that thing. And even now, 6 years into the game, sometimes I'm going to have losing days. I'm always learning. I'm always evolving my strategy. I'm always making sure I adapt to the market conditions. And there's always more to learn within the markets. Because here's what people don't understand. The market is always changing. The conditions are always changing. The environment is always moving around. Money is always rotating. And something that might have worked 3-4 years ago might not work at this point. But here's the part that actually separates the best traders from the ones that are just gamblers. Trading isn't about just reading charts. It's about being able to control your emotions when money is on the line. Imagine this scenario. You're down $10,000 and every single fiber in your body is telling you, oh, I should hold on to this. Oh, I should pray and hope that it goes up. But you know deep down that's not an actual real trading strategy, and your strategy tells you to cut your losses at low of day, and that stock is way gone past your low of day level. What do you do now? Or imagine you're up $10,000, your stock has hit your first TP, but you're greedy and you want it to continue to go higher and higher and higher and higher because maybe you lost a big amount of money the trade before that. What do? Do you hold and pray? Do you continue to look for this to continue to go higher? Do you break your rules? What do you do in these situations? These decisions happen every single day, sometimes even multiple times a day, and they require you to have emotional control, discipline, and trust with your system. Most traders lose money, and it's not because trading is impossible. It's because a lot of traders don't actually do the right things, and they think that getting into trading is going to be easy money. Well, if you're not doing what the 10% are doing, how do you expect to be in that 10%? These traders have no plan, they have no system, they have no rules, no discipline, no stop loss, and then they always end up blaming the markets and asking, oh, why do the markets suck today? Why have the markets not been able to be tradable? Well, is it the markets or is it your discipline? Is it the markets or is it the fact that you don't have a real strategy? You always have to be asking yourself these questions. Is the market the one to blame or are you the one to blame? And 90% of the time, the answer is you. You're doing things wrong and you can always improve, you can always get better. And this is the importance of journaling and really going deep down into your trades and understanding why some things worked and why other things didn't work in the markets. The market isn't rigged. They just didn't learn the rules before they started playing. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you actually start to understand how to read price action, how to read institutional volume footprints, how to analyze a theme, a sector, and know where the money in the market is flowing, you unlock something absolutely incredible. You can make money literally anywhere in the world with just a laptop and internet connection. I've traded from hotel rooms in Lake Como, from coffee shops in Paris, and from my bedroom in Miami. The market doesn't care where you are, and it doesn't care what type of degree you have. The only thing it cares about is if you know what you're doing. This isn't passive income. It's actually something better. It's a skill that pays you for the rest of your life from anywhere you want it to pay you and any time you want it to pay you. Now, that's real freedom because nobody could take that skill away from you. Now, I told you I'd be completely real with you, so could you actually make passive income in the markets? Technically, yes, it's called dividend investing. If you buy shares of companies like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Apple, Microsoft, and you just hold those shares, they pay you a portion of their profits. But here's the catch. To make any meaningful investment, you need to have a ton of capital up front. Now, let's do the math. A good dividend investment might pay you about 5% a year just to hold the stock. So let's say you put in $10,000, you only make about $500 every single year on that dividend investment. To make over $5,000 a month in dividends, which is barely enough to live in most major cities, you'd have to have over $1 million, $2 million invested in the markets. So yeah, passive income in the markets does work, but you have to be already wealthy to have it work for you right away. And how do these wealthy people get money in the first place to put into passive investments? Well, they learned a skill, a high value income skill that made them a ton of money to be able to invest deeper into the markets, invest deeper into other passive quote unquote income areas in the markets and overall in life. And look, I get it. The idea of passive income, it sounds attractive. Making money while you sleep, money flowing in while you're doing random stuff. It sounds great. But here's what wealthy people understand that broke people do not. Wealthy people don't chase passive income. They chase skills because these compound much faster. They chase knowledge, they chase competence, they chase networks. Because when you have a valuable skill, you don't need passive income. You have something better already. You have the ability to generate income from anywhere in the world whenever you want it. Think about it. What's more valuable, $1,000 in passive income that the company could cut dividends for, or a skill where you can make over $10,000 to $20,000 every single month? So here's where we're at. You came here wondering if you can make passive income from the markets. The answer is probably, maybe, not really, unless you have already millions of dollars to invest. But what you could do is even better. You could learn a skill to make money consistently from anywhere in the world whenever you want to do it. The question is, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to spend months learning how to read charts? Are you willing to paper trade until you get the strategy and the skill down? Are you willing to test yourself to become disciplined and actually stick to your strategy, your rules, your stop loss? Are you willing to treat it like an actual profession instead of just a lottery ticket? Because if you are, trading can completely change your life. and I know so because it's completely changed mine. Now, the hardest part about learning to trade isn't understanding markets and even learning chart patterns. It's about staying disciplined when you're down on the month and everything inside of you wants to make back these losses right away. It's about having the confidence to take the next trade after you're in a slump and you have multiple losses in a row. It's about sitting on your hands when there's no good opportunity, but you're itching to make money in the markets. Now, you know what made the difference for me? Having a system I could follow before every single trade. A checklist, one that would keep me in the markets whenever the markets were strong and keep me out when there was no trade and the setup wasn't good enough for me to even put risk on. That's why I created the perfect trade checklist. It's the exact 10-point system that I use before entering any trade. The checklist forces you to verify everything. You need to know exactly where you're going to enter, how much you're risking, what your risk to reward looks like, where your stop loss is, and everything about the setup before you even take the trade. In under 60 seconds, you'll know if you're looking at a high quality setup or just another emotional gamble. The difference between traders who make it and traders that blow up: the rules. They follow the rules every single time. Checklist is those rules, and it's the same rules that helped me make over $2 million in profits trading over the last 6 years. It's completely free for you to use. Link is in the description. Print it out, put it in front of your computer screen. Make sure you follow it before every single trade that you take and see the difference that it will make in your trading. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Most people will download it, they'll try to use it for a day, and then they'll give up on it. And that's why they don't end up making money in stocks. They don't have the discipline, they don't have the follow through. They say that they're going to do something, but the next day they do something completely different. And that's fine. But if you're tired of jumping from strategy to strategy, losing money in the markets over emotional mistakes, and watching people live their dream lives, then the checklist is something you have to try. Prove to yourself you can follow it for at least a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. See the results that you're gonna get finally being a systematic trader. Because whether you're trading options, forex, crypto, stocks, you know that discipline beats strategy every single time. Now, comment below and tell me honestly, are you looking for passive income, or do you actually want to learn a skill to make $10,000 plus every single month? Let me know below, and I'll see you in the next video.